Back at Dover International Speedway, NASCAR Sprint Cup Series action presented by Burger King. It is race number 2 of 10 in the chase for the Sprint Cup. We told you at the top of the show that the driver who has won this race every fall since the chase began has not gone on to win the championship.
So what do you think? Think Jimmy ought to just pull over?
Well, I'm just telling you, that's what history that's what history says.
These guys view that as the opportunity to be the first one to win Dover and go on to win the championship, rather than taking that stat and putting it in a negative way.
And oh, by the way, the guy who is the points leader leaving here has also never won it. There's the 2 car. We told you that Kurt Busch gets very excited and very animated in the car because he is a very intense competitor. Now, he's been pretty calm throughout much of the race, but now the car is struggling a bit, and he's getting a little fired up in the seat.
Our teammates took air out of the right rear this one, and both got looser, so we're thinking about putting some air in the right rear and taking some out of the right front. I don't know, man. This is our weak spot. It's the most frustrating thing, where we always seem to dial ourselves out. Track gets rubbered in, we start fading.
It is about making the right adjustments. You know, I think that's where Jimmy Johnson and Chad Knaus really a lot of times have these guys beat. But, you know, Kurt is running 3rd, so it's not like they've dialed themselves out of the race really here yet.
We'll see what's going to happen right now. He is sitting in the 3rd position. Montoya beside him in 4th. Getting set for the restart here in the AAA 400 at Dover.
Montoya giving Jimmy Johnson a little push. He's ready to go.
Matt Kenseth. Now Montoya backs up a little bit, gets a little squiggly there coming out of the corner, and Kenseth has to back off.
Everybody's a little bit squirrely off turn 2. Montoya gets a good run, though. Running 3rd, trying to hold off Kurt Busch, and Matt Kenseth, though, it's getting tight.
Yeah, this rubber buildup is really creating problems for these guys, especially when you're in a pack like this. It's hard to really see that. So as a driver, you know where it's at, but you don't know exactly if you're driving over it or around it in some of these cases. Here goes Tony Stewart.
Tony Stewart getting a run underneath that 2 car, trying to on the bottom of the racetrack.
One thing I'm seeing, this rubber buildup after a caution flag, looks like the cars will pick it back up and kind of pull it off the racetrack, and you see pieces of rubber flying on these restarts. So I think they're just struggling for grip those first few laps.
So Tony Stewart is 6th. Right behind him is Mark Martin, and Boyer behind him. That is 6th, 7th, and 8th. Casey Kane behind Boyer in 9th spot. Casey Mears in the 07. There's a 29. They're 14th, 15th, and 16th. The 99 is Edwards. Starting to get go time here, DJ. Moving in on 100 laps to go here, 100 miles to go at Dover, Delaware.
That was probably the last opportunity to make a major adjustment. As you see, Casey Mears trying to make the pass on Marcos Ambrose here, but they know it's getting down to that time. And these guys on fresh tires, especially the ones that cars may fade a little bit, know that right now on these restarts is a time they can make up some few positions.
Ambrose is 13th. Mears is 14th. There's Kevin Harvick back in 15th.
Been a good day for Marcos Ambrose. He's been very solid throughout the day. Been in the top 15 pretty much all day long.
Marcus spent all week in the race car. He was at Daytona tire testing for next year's Daytona 500. Only had about a half a day at home, and then comes here and gets in the car for the rest of the weekend.
It's fighting hard to hold this spot. Working that upper groove.
Ryan Newman, Greg Biffle now trying to move in on the 9 car for 9th spot.
Yeah, certainly Biffle would like to think that they could get that car adjusted a little bit better.
A little fuel coming out of that 47 right there. Like he may have got out of shape.
He's really working hard to hold this spot.
Yeah, I'm telling you, he's working hard.
Casey Mears is tough on the bottom of this racetrack to get the drive up off the corner that you need, because you really need all of the racetrack to make that pass.
Hard to believe this is just the first full year for Marcos Ambrose in a NASCAR Sprint Cup car.
He has made a lot of headway in just one full season with all these veteran drivers. Looks like Casey Mears is going to get that spot.
Show you the contact a moment ago with the 07 and the 47.
Yeah, you can see Marcus comes down across the track a little bit. Casey had that spot covered, just a little bit of contact, but no harm done.
And you see that fuel coming out the overflow. That's because the fuel cell and fuel tank is completely full. And when he did that rocket move back and forth, it kind of purges a little bit of fuel.
Let's update the 47. Shannon.
Well, Marcos Ambrose has been struggling with grip all day, but you wouldn't be able to tell by his run. I mean, he's been hanging in the top 15 all day long. Like I said, he was one of the drivers competing in that tire test. Just some extra laps has really helped him out. After all, this is only his third start here at Dover. But, you know, this track is compared to Bristol, and Marcos had a great run at Bristol earlier this season.
Yeah, he finished third at Bristol. He ran in the top 5. What impressed me most, he ran in the top 5 all night at Bristol, Tennessee. Didn't look into that third place finish at all. He was a very competitive car. Here comes Biffle. Remember, his last win came in this race a year ago, 35 races ago. Now he is trying to start moving in and taking positions away. He wants the 10th spot that Casey Kane has.
It looks like maybe they finally made some adjustments that are to Greg's liking, because they've been going the wrong way a lot.
Man, look at Allmendinger. Big run on these boys.
Yes, they're racing side by side. That allows that car, and AJ drove it down in pretty far, able to run up on them, but see Biffle not able to make that pass on the inside yet.
Biffle came into this race 9th in the point standings after that top 10 finish at New Hampshire last week, and he has held that position right now in the points.
Very solid, but we've talked before, when these drivers get to their favorite racetrack and where they normally do well at, they need to capitalize on those days and make the most of those points wise. Whenever you come to a place that you normally do well and you struggle to run in the top 10, then that can take the team down a little bit, because you realize that days whenever there are going to be days when you're not so good.
You know, Greg Biffle and Carl Edwards both said because they like this track so much, this is a track where the driver, said the driver, can make a difference. I mean, is this really a driver's type track?
There's no doubt this is a driver's track. You have to be on your game right here, ready to hang it out, and to go fast here. I mean, it's an exciting lap, even in race trim like this right here. So, yes, you can make a big difference as a driver. You have to have a car. We've seen as these guys get off a little bit, their car goes backwards, but the driver can make a big part. It has a big hand in how well you do. See Mark Martin going by Tony Stewart for that 6th spot.
Mark Martin back on his way toward the front. He has not led a lap today. Neither has Tony Stewart. In fact, this is the highest of Tony. Had actually been up in the top 5 once before, but now Martin moving back toward the top 5.
Yeah, Mark's car still a little bit of a struggle on the restarts, but man, after about 15 laps, it looks like it really comes on.
Well, the other thing is he probably looked at his watch and says, we're getting close to 100 laps to go, boys. Time to pick it up.
We talk about Mark being 50 years of age and the oldest driver ever to make the chase. And Harry Gant won this race twice at the age of 51 and 52, so it's been done by an older man.
I would be surprised to see Mark break that record, though. He's probably going to race another 10 years.
We can only hope. Currently showing 17 cars on the lead lap. Jimmy Johnson is our leader, and Johnson has led 3 times today for 164 laps. In the 2nd spot, there's a 24 car of Jeff Gordon. Let's check in with his crew chief, Steve Letarte. Dave.
Jeff Gordon's teammate setting the standard. Steve, what can you guys do to catch Jimmy?
I don't know. I hope we got the answer. DuPont Chevrolet's been very good off the truck. We had to work on it a lot yesterday to get it better, but these guys have worked great. The picture's been great. I think we got a really, really good DuPont Chevrolet. I just think Jimmy has a great Lowe's Chevrolet.
Great versus good wins, I guess, at this point, guys.
Couple of great cars, and even the crew chiefs get the sponsor pops in.
Yeah, doing a good job there.
Yeah, this has been a good solid day for Jeff Gordon. It was something he needed after last week. A little bit of a disappointment for them in that first race. They thought they at least had a top 5 car last week and weren't able to bring it home in the top 10. So he needed to rebound, and they're doing that very well here.
Well, I got to say they've done a good job all weekend. Their practice session, even happy hour, was not great until right at the very end. They just kept working on this car, kept working on it. And then overnight, they probably shared some notes and got this car very, very competitive today. And it's a testament to how well these teams work together.